clip. It's on the X by CBS Sports.
Nice.
I thought it was a cool little minute, 5 seconds actually. That was a good question. What does it mean, to have Chris Paul added to this team from Wemby's perspective, in his own words.
Right.
Because it's cool because he didn't have like Coach Pop next to him or somebody else that could be like, hey, you better say this. It's like, it was just him,
Nice.
Oh, and Keldon Johnson, they asked him at Media Day, why did he give up the number? And
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's like, well, it's a show of ultimate respect, like basically Chris Paul, he's a veteran, he's been in the league for many years. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, he had to do it, man. You can't do that to a future Hall of Famer. And I know it's sad. A lot of Spurs fans are like, 10-year, 5-6 years with the company, with the team.
Yeah. Good morning, Sam.
Man, Tony stole my line, baby.
First of the month.
Dude, I was talking to my girlfriend last night, and it was midnight. And I noticed on my phone that it was 12:02. And I said, hey, babe, guess what today is? It's the first of the month, so cash your checks and come on.
Oh, man, Sam Salinas. Chris Paul looked like a dorky old man next to Wemby. Oh, my God.
Hey, man, did you see the ref mess up on Monday Night Football yesterday?
No.
Dolphins game? Gave up a touchdown. Like, it took away a touchdown that should have been a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Yeah.
God, man, some of these officials suck. Just let the play develop, man.
At some point, you got to ask yourself, what's going to happen with this officiating? As things start to get more advanced with technology, wonder if AI will take over at some point.
Hey, Jerry, dude, they should.
And it'd be like, hey,
like to get rid of the chain gang.
Yeah. Just saying, dude. Then the officials will be on strike. Oh, I didn't play the intro.
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
Q Bone Thugs in Harmony. It's the first of the month here in San Antonio, Texas. My name's Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. Yes, the land of Exit 7, Marbach Road, in that area. I'm a Holmes Husky guy myself. Joe's a West Campus guy. We're going to be talking sports, pop culture, nostalgia, and a lot of death. Dude, yesterday I thought it was bad. We had Dikembe Mutombo die yesterday. And then the announcements in the last 24 hours of other celebrities who passed away.
Man, the Green Reaper said, hold my beer.
Dude.
Damn,
they come in threes. They came in like 8.
I know, man.
We got actors. We got reality stars. We've got, NBA legend, baseball legend. Dude, all in the last 48 hours. Just absolutely crazy.
And you know what? In the midst of all this, the great Jimmy Carter hit the century mark, dude. Turned 100.
Is it finally here?
He turned 100. He's been in hospice care for like the last 109 days.
Dude, I swear they're keeping him alive just to get to 100. He's going to die in 3 days.
But you know what? To his credit, though, I mean, Jimmy Carter did a lot of great things. Mm-hmm. And he started a lot of programs for, underprivileged kids and whatnot, things that he's still donating. He's a philanthropist, always giving back to the community, him and his wife when she was alive. So, I mean, he's done great things throughout his entire life.
Great guy, terrible president is what Jimmy Carter was.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, throughout his life, he's done a lot of great things.
We have a lot of those in U.S. history. Great guys who ended up becoming terrible presidents. And then you have terrible guys who sometimes make decent presidents, like Bill Clinton.
George W.
I don't know, man. Was George W. really in charge, or was that Dick Cheney? I don't know.
I think it was Cheney, dude.
Dick Cheney, only guy who could shoot a guy in the face.
Oh, George W.
And get away with it.
George W. couldn't say nuclear.
I know.
Nuclear.
You got a shoe thrown at him. Only U.S. president have a shoe thrown at him.
Oh, man.
I was thinking about that back in the day. Remember 9/11, and George W. Bush goes out there and throws the first pitch.
Yeah.
A week later, and it's right on target. Complete strike down the middle. Probably threw it 82 miles an hour. Best first pitch ever thrown. George
Ever.
W. Bush. The second is that girl from San Diego who did the backflip.
Oh,
into the
like
split.
a gymnast or something.
Yeah. That one's all-time great number 2, man. But man, we have a lot to get into today. It's one of those days, Joe, where we don't have like a lead story, if you will. Just a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Do you want to lead with death? Do you want to lead with the MLB playoffs, which gets going today? Houston Astros take the field. The first game, Astros-Tigers, 1:30 today.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big matchup there.
I think-
Astros going for another title, another pennant.
I think this is what we should do. We should actually start off with a little bit of death that leads into the MLB. And let's go ahead and talk about the great Pete Rose.
Rose passed away at the age of 73 yesterday. 83 rather.
Never made it into the Hall of Fame because of his gambling addiction.
Okay, so Pete Rose is the all-time hit leader, and it's not even
All-time.
close. All-time hit leader.
Great player, by the way. Great player,
decent manager. 4,256 hits, batted .303 for his career. You know, as a manager, had a .525 winning percentage. Played for the Reds mostly.
Yeah.
From 63 to 78. He also played with the Phillies from 79 to 83 back in the day when Mike Schmidt was taking the field. That 83 lineup for the Phillies was amazing. You talk about a 17-time All-Star. He made the All-Star team 17 times, 3-time world champion, NL MVP in 1973, was the World Series MVP in 75, Rookie of the Year, 2-time Gold Glove winner, Slugger Award winner, Roberto Clemente Award winner, 3-time batting champion for the National League. Again, the Reds retired his number 14 jersey, but he got in trouble. Gambling,
man.
Now, the thing about that was that he was gambling back, in the 80s, and he got banned. And you go back in time, he had a gambling addiction.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And you see that with players now. You see Tiger Woods,
Charles Barkley,
Michael Jordan, all with some sort of gambling addiction. Phil Mickelson, big time gambler. But the fact of the matter is that it is alleged that he gambled saying that his team was going to win. And I know gambling's wrong. And I would say, man, ban him for life, for multiple lifetimes, if he bet against his team, right? But because he bet for his team, at least that's the understanding that I have of the situation over the years, I'm kind of like, just let it go.
Well, this is my stance on it. Whether he bet against his team or for his team, whatever it might have been, what's happening in today's world? Now, betting is prevalent everywhere. You can bet from your phone. It doesn't matter what state you're in. There's a way that you can still bet on teams, right? And since, let's say, even the MLB, NBA, NFL even have sponsorships, with some of these betting sites, why not just lift the ban on him already and just enshrine him into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, and there's the holier than thou people in sports media, right? But baseball banned him, so they're not going to allow him in the Hall of Fame, but he should be. He is one of a top, 15, 20 players of all time in Major League Baseball history. He's an iconic guy. Again, we went through all the accolades: 17-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, hits champion. Just the hair, the flopping of the hair, how aggressive he was on the field. He is one of the greatest players of all time. And for him not to be in the Hall of Fame, it's kind of weird. I'm reading right now the Dowd report. The Dowd report basically was what did him in. Said that he bet on 52 Reds games in 1987. He wagered a minimum of $10,000 a day. That's in 1980 some odd money.
Coin,
that's
man.
1987 money. That's in today's money. That's like 30 grand.
Exactly.
Okay. It says that he bet on 52 games. He claims no, it was more like 2,000, but they're like, no, we saw what your bookies were writing down.
Yeah.
He bet on not only baseball, but also football and horse racing. If he bet on his team and he wanted his team to win, it's not like Tim Donaghy, the guy who was the official in the NBA who was helping shave points. It's not like that. It's not like you're betting against your team. There have been players out there, college basketball, NBA, who have shaved points, right? The Black Sox scandal of the 1918 Black Sox scandal with Shoeless Joe Jackson, where they were trying to either lose on purpose or they were trying to not run up the score.
Shave the points.
The points. Dude, if he was betting for his own team, and that was in 1987, what is that? That's 35, 38 years ago.
A long time ago.
Just
man.
let it slide at this point.
I'm just
and the fact that
you,
he's
man.
not, dude, and think about what Pete Rose was doing the latter parts of his years. I ran into Pete Rose at the Monte Carlo casino where he was signing autographs. He would go to the Monte Carlo, he'd go to the Bellagio, sign an autograph for $25, $50 because that's how he made money. It's a travesty. The guy was an all-time legend. And the fact that he couldn't even call baseball games for ESPN or TBS or WGN or whatnot.
Because they had that lifetime ban.
Because they had the lifetime ban. This is a guy that knows more about baseball than basically anybody out there.
They lost a great baseball mind, you know?
Yeah.
And a player.
It sucks to see what happened in his life.
Yeah.
And again, he did it to himself. But again, if he was betting against the Reds, I would say, man, just go ahead and just off him from sports forever. But if he was betting for his team and he had a gambling addiction, man, I have a hard time with that. Now, he died at his home in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the age of 83. Cause of death not immediately known. The last thing he had done was he attended an autograph event yesterday in Franklin, Tennessee. Not yesterday, but on the 29th, actually. Franklin, Tennessee, which is where I went this summer.
Yeah.
Beautiful little town on the outskirts of Nashville. So he was there, and again, the coroner's office has confirmed his death, but again, there have been no cause of death there. Some major league records that Pete Rose has: most career at-bats, most hits, most plate appearances, most career singles, most times on base, most times called out, most career games played. Think about that. He played 3,562 games.
More than Carl Ripken?
Yeah, more than Cal, yeah. Most games involved in a victory, 1,972 times. Most career runs by a switch hitter. Most career doubles and walks and total bases by a switch hitter. Most seasons with 200 or more hits. That's tied. He has 10 seasons like that.
Man.
Dude, the guy was an absolute stud. There's
He's
like
a baller,
there's
dude.
like 10 other records. National League records for most years played, 24. Most consecutive years played, most career runs with 2,165, most career doubles, most career games with 5 or more hits. He had 10 games in which he had 5 hits or more.
Yeah.
The guy was a stud. And then he went out there and was a manager for the Reds as well. Dead at the age of 83.
They should do the right thing, man, and shrine this brother into the Hall of Fame.
He is. And it was A. Bartlett Giamatti who was the commissioner who banned him back in the day.
He probably got died already, dude.
Yeah. Who, Giamatti?
Yeah.
Oh, Giamatti died, a week after Rose was suspended.
There you go, man.
Yeah, it happened right away.
Come on, man.
Yeah, Giamatti died of a heart attack. So 8 days after Rose announced his own personal suspension. Now, the thing is that the Dowd report stated that there was no evidence that Pete Rose ever bet against his own team. So the investigation into the betting said, yeah, he was betting on baseball. Here are all the games that he did.
So that's hearsay then.
Well, no, this is the actual report.
No, but I'm saying the media had reported
that it could have been the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
But the actual investigation says he bet this much money. He was like, oh, I didn't bet that many games. I only bet 2,000. And they're like, no, you bet 52 games. You were betting 10,000 a pop. And by the way, we saw who you were betting for. The bookie said you were betting for yourself.
Yeah.
So I might.
You see that comment right there?
I have a soft spot for gamblers, but hates Jason Aldean. I just hate his music.
Oh man,
dude, Pete Rose was a great player. You know what? Are we gonna dovetail into baseball playoffs? Or do you want to dovetail into the other celebrity death of the day?
We can dovetail into the playoffs, but before we do that, I think we should talk about the other celebrity death of the day, because this is something that I think we all, doesn't matter like the age gap right now, everybody saw American Pickers.
Yeah, so if you want to show my screen, I have a photo here of Frank Fritz, who passed away at the age of 60. Now, he had a stroke 2 years ago, which is why American Pickers went off the air. That is one of my favorite reality shows of all time. And I know it's nonsense, but you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
I have clients. I had a client who passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. Guess what he did for a living?
He was a picker.
He was a picker. Like, it's an actual occupation. It was a husband and wife team where they would go all over the country, go into rummage sales, go into yard sales, estate sales, and they were pickers. They would go to try to find a diamond in the rough. They try to go find something that the seller didn't know was valuable or not, or the seller didn't care. I will talk about Frank Fritz in a second, but I had this one client who passed away a few years ago. Old man. He was a museum curator.
Yeah.
I would go to his house here in San Antonio. His house was a better museum. His house was a better museum than anything I've seen in San Antonio or Austin. So much so that San Antonio and Austin museums and museums in Houston would take his stuff to display for 3 or 6 months at a time and then have to return it to him. I went to go visit my client at his house. And when you walk in the door, there's a cannon facing you like it's going to blow your head off. The cannon was from Gettysburg.
Wow, dude.
There's another cannon that was there from the Battle of the Alamo.
Man, all this kind of like old trinkets like that. I'm always afraid of having any like that stuff in my house because you never know, like spirits attach themselves to stuff. Bet you that house is haunted, bro.
Okay, so all the stuff that he had in his house, man, it was just artifacts. It was drums from Gettysburg and things from the American Revolution. Dude, he had a wing to his house that was dedicated to World War II. He had a full decorated Army, Navy, Marine, and Air Force allied, U.S. soldier, U.S. officers. And he had the same thing for the Nazis. And he had them where they were facing each other in a combat type of situation. Dude, with the blades and the guns and all that stuff, with the insignias, it was amazing, dude. Amazing. How did they get all that stuff? They were pickers.
Pickers, man. You know what the Frank was known for? They called his nickname was the Bundler. Every time he'd go out there and you'd see him, trying to go ahead and shake somebody down. Hey, man, let's bundle all this stuff together and I'll give you a certain price.
Yeah, because the other guy would be like individually try to buy stuff off of people. That'll be like $50, $100, $50, $100, and it's like $300. He goes, why don't we just get it all for $200? He was the bundler,
or
right?
They flip for it. They're between $300 and $250. What?
Let's go to flip for it. I forgot about that.
$50.
So Frank Fritz died. The person who made the announcement was Mike Wolf, who was the other person that was involved with American Pickers. This was kind of the heyday back in the early 2000s, 2010s, where the History Channel had a lot of really good reality shows. I mean, they had Pawn Stars. They had American Pickers. They had Counting Cars.
Yeah.
They had a lot of stuff. And then they had one guy who was like aliens. The History Channel kind of pivoted from World War II stuff.
Yeah.
To basically it was all about 9/11 and reality
documentaries,
shows.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
And American Pickers would show them going all up and down the Deep South. And they would go to I think they have a store in Iowa and one in Tennessee as well.
Antique archaeology.
Yeah, that's it. And they would go in there and they would show these barns that were legit.
Yeah, full of stuff. Man.
Movie theaters, old school movie theaters and things like that, where they would go in there and they would take the posters and they would buy the posters or the chairs or the memorabilia. Dude, one of the things I would talk about with my client who was a picker, he was saying that he was so appalled at how young people would get rid of stuff, throw things away at yard sales or throw things away at estate sales that were Civil War garments.
They probably didn't know what they had,
or the garments of the uniforms from Vietnam or from World War II or World War I.
Stuff should be in a museum.
Stuff that should be in a museum was being tossed away like it was nothing. A lot of guns and stuff like that.
Somebody in the chat here has me laughing. Sam Salinas. Operation Repo. Man, just because you said that, dude, you can't say Operation Repo without thinking about Sonia, dude.
Nice.
And she died 2 years ago, man. She died at the age of 60, man. So it's if you these were things that you saw in the heyday back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And they had that other one. I think it was called Detroit Pawn or something like that.
Yeah.
I used to like watching that because the guys that would come into that pawn shop, they were trying to shake the other guy down, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got this. It's worth $200. Give me my $200 right now. He's like, hey, hold on here. So they'd get into arguments and they'd be kicking people out, trying to shake them down for an X amount of money. No, I need this. And they're like, it's not worth it. It's not even real gold.
Yeah, don't get me started on Storage Wars.
It was funny stuff, man.
Storage Wars, dude. Oh, my God. Brandy Passanti on Storage Wars was smoking hot. I remember that back in the day.
Storage Wars.
By the way, Mike Wolf, who's the surviving guy from American Pickers, released a statement saying, quote, "It's with a broken heart that I share with you that Frank passed away last night. I've known Frank for more than half my life, and what you've seen on TV has always been what I have seen, a dreamer who was just as sensitive as he was funny, the same off camera as he was on. Frank had a way of reaching the hearts of so many by just being himself." Frank Fritz passed away at the age of 60.
Yeah, we got an incoming super chat here from the Drew Show.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Drew. Appreciate your support, man. $5 super chat.
Yeah,
incoming.
he says, are we going to talk about how CP3 and Pop sat down Keldon Johnson and used the manifesto respect angle, according to Keldon himself, to give up the number 3?
That's what I was thinking when he was talking to the media. This is what you're going to say. Coach Pop, this is what you're going to say.
Yeah, so the Spurs had media day yesterday, which I think
man.
next year we should go to, Joe. I think next year we should go to media day.
You could go if you want, dude. I'll probably see if I can go,
I've done it before, but we saw other podcasters out there. Maybe we should do it next year. We kind of blew it off this year.
Yeah, it'd be like a reunion there. I know most of
know
these
everybody
people,
there.
man. And I miss my boy RJ Marquez, dude. I always run into RJ
Yeah.
when I go to the AT&T Center, now the Frost Center, and he comes out on my podcast here and there. But I always see him, dude. Him and his wife, great people, man.
So if you want to show my screen real fast, there's a photo here of Keldon Johnson at media day posing with Chris Paul III. Chris Paul covering up the number 3 jersey. Keldon, a skinny Keldon Johnson, no longer big body Keldon Johnson, sporting the number 0. Again, Keldon Johnson had that jersey number for 5 seasons and gave it over to CP3. CP3 is only going to be with the Spurs for 1 season, but again, he is known as what? CP3. This was going to happen. It would have been bad form for Keldon Johnson not to give up the jersey number. Would I have blamed him if he didn't want to give it up? No. But it was going to happen. With Pop there, with CP3 there, it was going to happen. But you know what? Keldon gets to have a rebirth. Maybe this is a different type of player that we have here. Jordan had 23 and 45. Kobe had 8 and 24. Keldon now has 3 and single 0. I cannot call it just 0. It's single 0 because Johnny Moore was double 0.
You know what? I wonder how much Chris Paul paid KJ, Keldon Johnson.
Oh, it's got to be at least 100K.
He either had to buy him a car or give him some cash, something.
100K.
Yeah, man.
Which is nothing for Chris Paul, Chris Paul has that State Farm money, man.
Oh,
man. Ain't nothing, dude. Ain't nothing.
What's his acronym on the State Farm commercials? Cliff or something?
Cliff, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about Keldon Johnson. I don't understand why some of these Spurs fans hate him. The guy averaged like 20 points a couple of years ago. The guy is a gold medalist. The guy is a good teammate. He hustles. He starts. He plays 6-man. He's the 10th guy on there.
Does great things for the community.
People
why do you hate him, dude?
People hate him. I don't get it.
Spur fan is a crazy bunch, man. They got
Keldon Johnson was the number 29 pick in the draft. Everyone's making it seem like he was a top 10 player.
I still like Keldon.
He overachieved.
Keldon's my boy, man.
I
even got the little bobblehead, the Mustang.
I advocated with Keldon,
Come on.
trading potentially Keldon if it was to improve the team. I never said trade Keldon because he sucks. No. Never once have I said that. All I've said is that he's not a big guy, should not be playing the 4. Play him a 3. That's where he should be playing.
Yeah. And what do I have over here? I also have a picture, right? You've seen it.
Yeah.
The Mustang, right? I mean, come on. I'm a Keldon Johnson fan. And look what people say about him, dude. What are they saying? Give me the number. Your ass is going to China. Oh, they told him he either has his name or his brains would want to be on that paper signing over the number 3. Oh my God. They're trying to shake him down like gangsters. You know? Sign over the number, boy.
It did take a while. It did take a while for them to finally convince him. They say, and according to Vinny Venzetta, formerly of Kansas 5, says the the jersey switch was nothing more than showing respect in the eyes of Keldon Johnson to Chris Paul. And he was just basically saying that he just respected CP3, and CP3 is a future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest point guards of NBA history all time. Got to do what you got to do.
Spurs fan, this is true by Spurs fans, man. Everyone, every time there's a trade coming up, putting Keldon.
It makes sense because Keldon Johnson's talented. You know, all those people who come out and say, well, trade Zach Collins, he's trash. Well, guess who else knows he's trash? Every other team knows that Zach Collins is trash.
Yeah, man. If any other team got
you
him,
hear that all the time.
Go.
Oh, the Spurs should just trade Lucas Samanic for a first rounder. Spurs should just trade Zach Collins and his kind of. Everyone knows that Keldon Johnson was the tradable piece because he's a decent player. He's an above average player at a good price point. Actually, his salary is getting less and less as the years go on, the way that his contract was structured. So Keldon Johnson is not a bad player. I like him on this team. I do. And with Devin Vassell obviously going to be hurt and missing the first month of the season. I know they said he's going to be reevaluated November 1, but come on. This is Devin. Devin misses time.
Zach is decent, not great, but trade bait.
He's not trade bait for anything.
No,
at a $15 million pop year, $17 million.
Stupid ass move by the Spurs by actually extending him, man.
And people think that Zach Collins' contract started last year.
No.
Starts next week.
He's locked in here for a while, dude.
It's brutal, man. But Keldon was the tradable piece. Who would you rather have at $17 million, Keldon or Zach Collins? If you were another team,
man. Keldon, dude.
Yeah.
What's Zach? I mean, Zach Collins. Look, man. Again, I got nothing against the guy. I think he's a great guy. He does a lot of things for the community. I commend him for going out to the Methodist Hospital, you know, where my wife works, and talking with everybody out there, talking with the kids and whatnot, you know. But as a basketball player, there's a lot to be desired there, man. I mean, can he shoot? Can he hit a free throw consistently?
I know.
Can he play defense? What are we doing?
It's brutal.
I mean, like Chris Leha says, you might as well put a traffic cone out there on the court.
Yep.
Pay them the same amount of money.
I'd rather see Mamu out there than Zach
Exactly,
Collins.
dude. At least Mamu's going to go and try. He's going to move.
How does Zach Collins not dunk at the ball every play? If I was 7'1", and I had that wingspan, I would dunk it every single time. What are we doing layups?
Zach Collins hurt all the time too, man. Every season hurt. I mean, how many games do you think?
But he's got the love of Chicano Frete, though.
No, man. How many games do you think he's going to miss this year? You're going to get hurt again?
Oh, 15 easy.
Yeah, man. Come on.
15 easy. But yes, thank you again, Drew Show, for the super chat. Again, you can show us some love by buying us a beer, by doing the super chat. And everybody who's watching right now, hit the like button already, baby.
Yeah, man.
Hit the like button. Why do we only get X number of likes when everyone should be liking the show? Because it's right there. Hit the like button there.
Hit that like, man.
Drew Show with a $5 super chat. Food for thought, he says. Was Devin's surgery and recovery the only reason the Spurs didn't trade for Markkanen? You know what? I'm not into conspiracy theories, but I like this one. Because, again, whenever you have a trade, what does the other team need to do? They need to give that other person a physical. I'm not saying that they went and gave him a physical, but the Spurs knew he was hurt. The announcement was just being made now. Devin Vassell saying that he's going to be reevaluated after having foot surgery on his right foot. Devin Vassell is a player who typically misses a lot of time. And I hate to call him damaged goods because he's not damaged goods like Zion Williamson, who's going to miss half the season.
Again.
But he's damaged goods to the point where, he's going to miss a quarter of the year. That's another reason why the Spurs getting Stephon Castle in the first round was such a big deal, man. It was such a big deal. And speaking of which, I'm going to be on Locked On Spurs, I believe, tomorrow, talking about Stephon Castle and what he brings to the team with Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs.
Yeah, I'm also going to have a friend of mine be on the Area 210 podcast later on this week. A good friend that I used to work with over at Project Spurs, Paul Garcia. He's going to be a guest on the Area 210 podcast, talking to me about Media Day, talking a little bit about Spurs basketball, what we're thinking about, the upcoming season, and some of the comments that players made and all that. So he's going to share his perspective.
Badass.
Yeah.
Tavarius asking the question, is Castle Vassell's replacement? Well, he is. I think he's going to be the replacement right now at the twos position, but I'm hoping Castle's going to be Trey Jones's replacement when it's all said and done. We were talking about Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. Let's go ahead and show him some love.
Yeah.
He's been with us since the get-go.
Let's show him some love. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G. Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow, not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
You know, I always mentioned that I subscribe on Spotify and YouTube, but you can also Spotify wherever you get your podcasts. So, you know, there's a lot of different places where you can go. Jeff is more than likely going to be on there. He mentions it on Locked On Spurs. Yep. By the way, I was listening to, I was mowing the yard yesterday. And while I was mowing the yard, I was listening to a Locked On Spurs episode from last week.
I'm going to call that a lie because you don't do yard work.
Dude, I love the yard, man. It basically centers me. I love doing yard work.
Oh, my goodness.
But I was listening to Locked On Spurs, and it was an episode from about a week and a half ago. It's when San Antonio boxing legend Jesse James Leha was on, talking about how for years, since 1999, he's been training Spurs players with boxing. And he did this whole story about how he went out and in 1999, you had, you know, Duncan and Robinson and all those guys go to Alamo Stadium for a workout that James Leha was running. Yeah. And he was talking about how he's taking credit for the 99 championship because they were all in better shape.
I think that's when they had him running up and down
the hills. Yeah. So he was talking about that. He was talking about who he thought was the hardest hitter that he ever saw as a Spur.
And it wasn't Wemby.
And he's talking about Keldon Johnson and his development in the ring. If you're going to listen to a Locked On Spurs episode that I highly recommend, go back to the James Leha one, because James Leha is a San Antonio treasure, a San Antonio legend. And he's talking about not only the fitness that it takes for an athlete, but for a regular person to have that hand-eye coordination. It was a great episode. James Leha on with Jeff Garcia last week on Locked On Spurs. Go ahead. And it's also on video as well if you want to check it out on YouTube. Jeff Garcia just posted an article just 8 minutes ago about Jeremy Sohan.
Your
talking
favorite.
About their goals. You know what? I hope Sohan breaks out this year. I really do. And now when I say that Sohan breaks out, I think Sohan's going to break out in a different way. I'm not saying that he's going to go and shoot 36% from three. I'm not going to say that he's going to light it up, because his shot, especially when you saw it during the Olympics, like they didn't even make the Olympics, but when you saw them trying to get to the preliminaries, it looked broken.
What, his EFG, your favorite stat?
48.3 year one, 48.3.
Maybe he has a better year this year. You're going to wear a Sohan jersey?
Well, what is better? Because if he gets to 50%, he's still below average. I mean, for his position, his EFG should be, well, it depends on how many times he shoots the three ball. I'd say his EFG should be 54%.
Yeah.
And you might look at that and go, 54% to 48, that's pretty close. It's not. 54% is 50 percentile for his position. 48.3 is bottom 15 percentile for his position. Get halfway there. Get to 51.
Yeah.
Get to 51. I'd be a happy man. But I think he's going to be better because he has better players around him. Look at Derek White. Derek White was a decent player with the Spurs.
Yeah.
He was a much better player when he had Tatum and Brown and Horford and all of those guys around him. You look at Jeremy Sohan, he's going to be better because Harrison Barnes is there. He's going to be better because Chris Paul is there. He's going to be better because Wemby's getting better. So damn straight, Jeremy Sohan's going to have a better year this year. He better. And I believe he's going to. Jeff Garcia, again, your daily content for Spurs coverage. He also mentioned earlier today that Taco Palenque is the official Fresh Mex restaurant. So it's not Tex-Mex, it's Fresh Mex. Joe, give me your takes on Taco Palenque.
It's all right. It's not bad, dude. It's a lot better than Taco Cabana. I've been there because there's one right here around the corner from us, down 1604, right here as you're making the turn to get on from 151 to 1604, right before Culebra. And I've been to that one. It's a little pricey, but it was all right.
Okay, so first of all, Taco Palenque. The first time I had it was
Yeah.
when I was in Laredo. Dude, it's amazing. It's very good. It's not Tex-Mex. It's somewhere in between Mexican and Tex-Mex. I like it, dude. I really do like it. Taco Cabana was one of my favorite places to go in the 90s and early 2000s.
Not anymore.
It is trash now.
It's garbage, dude.
I mean, it is one step above Taco Bell. Everything about it is just one step above Taco
I
Bell.
actually gotta say Taco Bell's probably surpassed.
Every
Taco
once in a while, I
Cabana.
crave the nachos at Taco Cabana,
Yeah.
but even so, when they started
It's not
putting
even real
when they
cheese
started putting
anymore.
queso on
Yeah,
top of it
dude.
as opposed to shredded cheese, I got mad. But Palenque, okay, it's about $12 a meal,
Yeah.
but you got some really good tacos there, man. And it comes with a side of fideo, man. That hits the spot, man. It just warms the throat. A little bit of fideo. God, it's good. The Cáceres taco there is really good, which is like the bean cheese and fajita. That was really good. Then they have that one that's it's basically fajita meat with queso fresa, whatever. It's really good.
Look at that comment. Taco Palenques from Laredo. Mike calls it poor food.
Well,
Oh,
I have no
man.
comment. I have no comment. It's funny. I mentioned that on we talk about how San
on.
Antonio is poor. It is. We are one step above Laredo, and Laredo's one step above Del
What do
Rio.
what do you have against Laredo and El Paso, man?
But I say about El Paso. El Paso's 562 miles away. You know how I know
It's in
that?
the mountains, man.
You know how I know that? It's because when you go to La Cantera Mall, it says 562 miles to El Paso. That's why I know the number, right?
Yeah.
That is so far away.
I know if you
I
went
have
to-
I have no hatred for El Paso because it's so far away.
I bet you if you went to El Paso and you went to go watch their minor league team that they have, they're
Oh,
called the Chihuahuas.
Oh, nice.
And if you went there and you got a Juarez dog, you would say that's poor food.
Okay, first of all,
You know what a Juarez dog is?
I don't
right?
know. What
it's
is
a
it?
hot dog that they serve there in the stadium. And I know this because my best friends told me. He's from El Paso. He goes back to El Paso. And it's a hot dog. And then they put like beans on it. All right, like refried beans, all that kind of stuff.
I'm looking up
onions and all this, and you eat it. I mean, it sounds like it'll just stick to your side. You just need that one meal and some beers, and you'd be good. But man, can you imagine that friendly fire from that sucker later on?
Oh, here I'm looking at a photo right now.
Man.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
Why?
Because,
Why? Because it's poor people food.
I mean,
Come
it
on,
kind of
Mike.
is, dude. I mean,
Come on.
you
man.
know,
That's,
poor people food is ween as an
that's
egg.
ballpark fair, dude.
Poor people food is ween as an
You
egg.
can't do the wiener and egg.
Oh, gross, dude. That is gross. You know what? It's so funny. The one thing that I am bougie about is hot dogs. Like I want all
no
beef.
Bar S.
I want all beef. What's that?
No Bar S brand hot dogs for you.
Oh, dude, not even Oscar Mayer, man. I ain't gonna do that crap.
I have to have the full length bun.
I'm not gonna have cow lips and all that crap.
What do you get? Is it like the Oscar Mayer brand?
No,
What are you
man.
getting?
Well-
Well, you know Oscar Mayer is really good because you have Nathan's and all that. Like when you get it up to the upper echelon,
Nathan's
it's
is really
gonna be
good.
all beef. It's not that little,
No,
the beaks and feet.
I will do Nathan's. I will do Ballpark. But man, I have to be bougie about that. The other thing I don't do that is generic or cheap. I can't do cheap soda, Joe.
Oh,
I can't go to Walmart or HEB and get the Hill Country Fair soda. The same thing goes with the cereal. You go down the aisle at HEB and they have like the fake Fruit Loops and the fake Frosted Flakes.
It's the same
I
thing.
can't have any
It's
of that
the
crap.
same thing.
I tried giving that to my kids one time and they
Oh,
called my
man.
ass out. They were like, "We know this isn't the same thing, you know."
But hey, man, I'm gonna tell you on one thing though. And I like that HEB cola, right? The HEB brand stuff is good,
That's
man.
gross.
No, it's not like that Diet Dr. B. That is different,
Dude,
man.
where did Dr. B get its degree from, man? I
Diet-
go with
it's like
Dr. Pepper.
Diet Dr. Pepper, but it's
No,
called
man.
Diet Dr. B from the HEB brand. That thing slaps, bro. I love it. Me and my niece always say it. It hits different, dude.
No, man.
Yeah, man.
Soda can't do the generic, man. Hot dogs cannot do the generic.
I got regular sodas. We were drinking Diet Pepsis last week, but I like that Diet Dr. B, man.
I don't trust it.
No, man, that's good stuff. You know what else I like from that HEB? The off-brand, the HEB brand, like Cool Ranch chips
Yeah.
and the Cheetos. That stuff's good, dude.
No, I can't do fake chips either, man. I just can't. Tony, now let's ask it if Corpus Christi's poor. Corpus Christi is poor. I lived there for 2.5 years. God, it's po. Basically, if you're south of south of New Braunfels, we're getting to poor. Now, San Antonio isn't dirt poor. I mean, we're not, McAllen, Harlingen, Donna, the RGV.
You heard the triangle of toughness. Now look at this, Midtown Texas.
the Texas Triangle of Poverty, San Antonio, Corpus, Laredo.
Jeez, man.
It's actually Corpus, Laredo, Brownsville. The triangle points downward. San Antonio is just kind of like, San Antonio is just meh. Well, okay, first of all, Joe, if San Antonio could be reflected as a neighborhood in the city of San Antonio, like if Stone Oak is, I don't know, the Woodlands, Houston area, right?
Yeah.
If Alamo Heights is South Park, or what is it called, in Dallas?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
South Lake, rather. Where's San Antonio in relation to any neighborhood in San Antonio? I'm going to tell you where San Antonio is. Okay, I have one in my opinion. You tell me.
Okay. Where's San Antonio in relation to like what Stone Oak and
like Stone Oak is Woodlands, Houston,
no.
right? Austin is like would be like with the Pearl District, right? What is San Antonio? And I love this question, by the way. What is San Antonio in relation to a neighborhood in San Antonio?
Damn. And kind of mid-tier, dude, in the middle.
I have one.
You know what San Antonio would, and I'm going to take a jab at you. It'd be the Holmes area.
Close.
Around Holmes High School.
Close. I have Jefferson in mind.
Oh, God.
I think San Antonio is like the Jefferson Woodlawn area. It's not bad. It's seen better days. It's not trashy. It's not poor, but it ain't rich. It's historic. I think San Antonio is the Jefferson High School of Texas. That whole Woodlawn Lake area of Texas.
They're saying that Mike's a wiener connoisseur. You know what my best friend said one time, dude? And this is a catchphrase that we always say to each other. We went one time to the Spurs game, right?
Yeah.
And we got there early, because I had like good seats and all that, and they let you in before everybody else. And we're walking around the whole concourse and everything, and there's nobody there. It's just us, a handful of other people. And they're already, they're letting you get food and whatnot, if you wanted to buy food.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend hadn't eaten all day. So as soon as we get in there and we're walking, and he stops, we're talking, right? And he stops talking to me, and he's like, takes a deep breath, and he goes, "Huele a wiener?" I'm like, "Bro, what?" And he's like, "Man, I want a hot dog, bro. I can smell him from here." And I'll never forget that. I always tell him to this day, "What does it smell like?" He goes, "Man, F you, bro." I say, "Huele a what?" "Huele a wiener."
If people call me bougie, we're a little bit late on some of these comments coming in.
We started talking about food and cola. And then that's what I'm saying. Look at Midtown. HEB Cola is legit, bro. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Mike, you see the cheap hot dogs? Dude, I tell this story about growing up, never having dinner at home on Fridays, because my dad would always get Fred's fish fry on Fridays, and my sisters would eat it up, and my mom and dad would eat it up, and every Friday I'd be there eating just the bread. Just the bread. Why? Because I don't eat fish. I didn't back then.
Oh, I said, whoa. Wiener and egg is breakfast for effing champions, man.
Yeah, if you po.
Oh, come on, man. No. That's good stuff, bro.
Okay, so Joe, let's talk about breakfast tacos. We talk about sports all the time, right? We'll get back to the Major League Baseball playoffs. Astros take the field in a couple of hours. What are the three best tacos that you go get, like for breakfast? Go breakfast tacos, right? You're not going to go to Sandra's or Las Palapas or Lupitas or wherever. We're going to order tacos, right? You could get 3 tacos, one of each. What are the 3 you're getting?
Oh, man. I always got to go and get like a sausage and egg, a papa ranchera.
Okay.
And like bean and cheese.
Okay. My daughter, Gabby, is a huge bean and cheese fan. She told me when she was little that bean and cheese tacos were the best meal ever, because she says that they're perfect for breakfast. They're perfect for lunch. You could have them for dinner. You could have them as a snack. She says that bean and cheese tacos are the perfect food.
They are, man.
For Mexicanos.
And you know what makes a perfect bean and cheese taco? It's the beans themselves. They have to be good, like homemade beans, where they make the pot of beans and then they squash them.
Right.
Top tier.
I dated a vegetarian years ago.
Yeah, too, man.
Vegetarian years ago. She could only have bean and cheese tacos from Taco Cabana because they don't use bacon. And they don't use like the lard or whatever. They do it a little bit differently.
That's what makes them good, though, man.
Okay, so I walk into a taqueria, right? I go into Lupita's or I go into Don Pedro's or whatever. Dude, I've always been in love with potato egg with cheese and bacon.
Potato and egg from Bill Miller's is really damn good, dude.
It's the hash browns.
I know, man. That stuff is good, dude.
I'm a carne guisada and cheese kind of guy. And for breakfast, dude, there's a what is the third one I would have for breakfast? Those are like my two main ones. There's a chilaquiles taco that I see every once in a while. Kind of a crunchy taco. Not bad.
Oh my God, Midtown Texas put it on a shirt. Huele a wiener. Now everybody's gonna be saying that when we get together somewhere. Huele a wiener. I'll be like, oh God, man.
Oh, Sith coming eggs and ketchup. Gross.
Bro, what?
Poor man's food.
So Mike admitted he needs his wieners all beef.
I never call taco palenque poor food. I like taco palenque.
Oh, you said it's poor people food, man.
I never said palenque was poor food. Taco Cabana is poor food.
Jeez,
palenque
man.
is legit.
Oh, Elias doesn't eat beans.
Now, let me ask you this question about beans. When you go to a restaurant, is it refried or do you like getting
the borracho?
The borracho.
It depends on what I'm eating. I don't mind a borracho bean. I like my refried beans too. Like you're gonna have like, let's say enchilada plate, something like that, Mexican plate. You're gonna get your refried beans. But if you're eating like a steak, for example, pork chop, something like that, I'd rather have borracho beans.
Yeah, I like borracho beans better.
Yeah.
We were talking about Jeff Garcia, who's in the chat. He's gonna have Blake Wesley on today. Locked on Spurs.
I had put that out earlier. He had put a comment in there, so make sure you all go and check out Jeff and his great interview with Blake Wesley.
Now, Drew Show coming up with statistics over here, talking about the poverty rate, saying San Antonio is 17% poverty, Corpus 14, Laredo 21, Austin 9. Corpus and Austin are closer to, and San Antonio are closer to Laredo as opposed to Austin. Saying Corpus is closer to Austin than San Antonio. Yeah, but there's no big business either, really, in Corpus. I mean, unless you want to sniff chemicals all day long. I get a lot of business out there, Joe. A lot of my business in San Antonio. I've been in business for what? I've been in finance for 19 years, but I restarted my business back in 2021.
Yeah.
I'd say if I had to calculate it, and I'll probably do it this week, maybe only 20% of my business comes from San Antonio.
Damn, look at that. Pour out some liquor for my Apetitos on Marbach area. Rest in peace, man. It finally shut her down, I guess.
Oh, really?
Remember, Apetitos used to be good before the fire.
Is that the little one behind the gas station on Marbach and 410?
No, yeah, it's right behind, where they have the Pep Boys and all that.
Is that the one that has like the is that the old man who worked there? That old man? John Dyer took me to a taqueria.
Yeah, probably Apetitos, dude. Apetitos used to be good back in the day before they had a fire, right? So then after the fire, they had to like bring in all new equipment and everything, and the food just didn't taste as good anymore because I guess those years of all the seasoning and the griddle and all that gave the food a flavor, man. Oh, look, we got a $2 incoming super chat from the Drew Show.
FYI, Dallas is 14%. Also, Houston, San Antonio is in decline. San Antonio is in decline. It's been an ongoing thing for 20 years, and I think people get mad when I bring it up. And Tony
Ornelas, you guys need to go live outside the Fred's Fish by on Marbach. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, but I don't want to, have any drug deals.
Saca la bolsita, Mike. Look, we got another $1.99 super chat.
Very nice.
From Jason Garcia, all the way in the great area of Portland.
Yeah, fantastic guy, man. He's a San Antonio FC fan as well. saying pour one out, he says, for his Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, can I get a slice of humble pie for my Seahawks? Man, your Seahawks, they got embarrassed yesterday. But they did come back, and they made a valiant effort, to try to go ahead and get back in the game. Because let's face it, man, Detroit was just beating the heck out of them.
Yeah, Monday Night Football, one of the games from yesterday on Monday Night Football, Lions beat the Seahawks 42-29. First loss of the year for the Seahawks, who, Geno Smith almost threw for 400 yards, 395 yards passing.
He didn't have a bad game.
Yeah, Jared Goff had 2 touchdowns thrown and caught one. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He had a perfect game. We're going to talk about the stats, but we started getting off on the tangent here, talking about food and
18 for 18. Amon-Ra St. Brown was 1 for 1. For a team, they were 19 for 19. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. So
Jameson Williams, 80 yards receiving. Sam Laporta, who's a stud tight end, 53 yards there. You're not going to win a game if the other team is throwing 100%. The other Monday night game, which was marred by just mistakes early on by the officials, Titans beat the Dolphins 31-12. There was a play in which there was a pass that was thrown backwards that got recovered by the defense and taken in for a touchdown.
Yeah,
and they called it incomplete, and they stopped the play. Then they ended up they checked it out and they said, oh well, it was a fumble recovery, but they wouldn't give the touchdown. The guy never actually ran into the end zone because they whistled it down. Yeah. But
look at that. Good morning, Tim Gonzalez. Appreciate you watching, man, and happy belated birthday, by the way. I told him happy birthday on his birthday.
Oh, nice.
But his birthday was just about a day or two ago. So again, happy birthday to you, man. Mike, Matt Lerma's calling you out. He says, Mike, you're such a big businessman in town. What are you doing to turn SA around? You said you wanted to run for office.
I've always said that. I was asked by a mayor, a former San Antonio mayor, reached out to me recently. I say recently, it was a few years ago, and asked me to run for office, and I told him no.
You're gonna Mike for mayor?
No, they asked me to run for Northside ISD's trustees.
Yeah,
and they said that they would support me and they would get the political party to support me and all that stuff. They were trying to recruit me into politics.
Mira nomás here, Mike. It says Black Bucket here watching us on YouTube. He's agreeing with you. Look at his comment. He says, our city leaders have not served us well. We need more business-minded leaders. But to be honest, it's the mentality of the people in SA. Unfortunately, Mike is more right than wrong.
By the way, thank you so much for that, Black Bucket. I really do appreciate it. We have our good friend from the Netherlands.
Oh, Jeff or Gert.
He reached out to me yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
He says that he has some good news that's going to provide him some peace of mind when it comes to his medical issues. That he still has some things going on, but it looks like things are getting a little bit better. So very, very nice. I'll reach out to him and see how he's doing.
Him, man.
Yeah, he messaged me yesterday about that.
And we got an incoming $4.99 super chat from Sith Elias. And thank you for that, Sith. Appreciate the support, man. He goes, get one taco, each on me. He goes, love you, fellas.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Sith.
That's good enough for at least 2 bean and cheese.
That is true. That is true. Major League Baseball playoffs get going today. Houston Astros got Framber Valdez on the mound, taking on the Detroit Tigers. First game is going to be at 1:30 today on ABC. It's the AL wild card. At 3 o'clock on ESPN2, you got the Royals taking on the Orioles. 4:30, Mets and Brewers going at it. And then at 7:30, the Braves and Padres start their series. Again, these are the wild cards. The Astros are favored today. They're minus 145. Framber Valdez is a hell of a pitcher, man. I mean, I talk about how I don't care about baseball, but there's certain players that I do follow. And Framber Valdez, I mean, that guy can play, dude. That guy can play.
And here's what the odds makers are saying as far as the wild card winners and what they're thinking, So I'm going to go ahead and show this on screen here. Check out that, Mike. It says, which teams will be wild card winners? So you have the Royals and the Orioles. Royals plus 150, Orioles minus 180. Tigers versus Astros. Tigers, they got them at plus 160. Astros minus 190.
Okay, I like that.
And the NL card, right? This was the American League. This is going to be the National League here. You have the Mets and the Brewers. They got the Mets plus 115, Brewers minus 135. And you got the Braves against the Padres. They got the Braves plus 150, Padres minus 190.
You got to figure that the Astros are getting those odds right there because the experience that they have.
The pedigree.
The pedigree. Yeah. I mean, Altuve and Valdez and all of these guys.
That brother ain't even 5 foot, man.
he's like Kit in A League of Their Own. You know, he's like he wants the high ones.
What is the size of his
bat?
No, not even the bat. Like when they're pitching the ball, right? The strike zone that they have. That strike zone must look huge to him, dude. You know, you're pitching into a small window, and they always show it on screen, right? Here's the strike zone. You know, if the ball's going here or here, it should be a strike, not a ball. I mean, can you imagine Altuve?
Altuve, 5'6", 165. And there's a comparison between him and Aaron Judge. I mean, think about it. Aaron Judge is what, 6'6"?
Yeah, man.
6'7".
It's a tall guy.
Let me ask you, and he weighs 282. It's a big dude. Do you cheer for the Texas team, the Houston Astros? Do you cheer for a small market team like the Royals or the Brewers? You know that they don't get the love, man. I say this all the time. Derek Jeter is like considered to be an all-time great.
Yeah. But
you compare him to Paul Molitor, he was nothing. But Paul Molitor no one cares about because he played for the Brewers. Robin Yount played for the Brewers. If you had the stats of Yount and Molitor, or even an Alan Trammell who played for the Tigers, and you had them in Yankee pinstripes, they would be considered legends.
Yeah, man.
But they're just Hall of Famers.
I got to root in this one. I got between the Brewers and the Mets. I got to root for the Brewers, dude. I can't stand the Mets. I don't like the Mets.
Yeah, I haven't liked the Mets since Gooden and Strawberry were out there.
Yeah, man.
Lenny Dykstra.
Never cared for him. Mike Piazza.
I
still have his rookie card somewhere.
Somewhere?
Yeah, I do, man.
You know, I was going through my safe the other day. I have a Cal Ripken rookie card in there.
Jeez, man.
Got it on eBay.
Dude, I have so many cards like up and saved, you know. I was looking at some of them the other day. And then one of my friends, Jonas, was here one time, and I showed him a binder, just one of them that I have of old basketball cards. And he's like, bro, these cards are legit, man. He's like, and I had some errors too with the Michael Jordan card and whatnot. And those are worth some money, but I hang on to them, man. I said I'll give them to the kids at some point.
Real fast, Yordan Alvarez was added last second to the Astros roster for the series against the Tigers. The one player that's not on the roster, left off because of injury, is Justin Verlander. Let's just hope Kate Upton is still in the stands.
Yeah. I like Jesse Martinez says the strike zone is between the chest and knees. The strike zone would be smaller for him.
Do they call it at the chest anymore?
I don't know. Because everything's all digital now. They just kind of put that little box on the screen now. Altuve uses little league bats.
Mm-hmm.
My Rangers not in the playoffs. Yeah, man. Pour some out for you, Hanover Fist, and our friend Brandon Big Papi Medina as well. Midtown Texas. I like the Mets. Nah, man, I can't stand the Mets. I don't like them, and I don't care for the New York Yankees either, man. I'm a Red Sox fan.
I hate the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean the Yankees are a good team though. There's no doubting that.
What's weird about it? I hate the Yankees, but I've been to Yankee Stadium a few times, and I cheered hard.
You liked it.
There's just something about the energy there, and maybe I didn't want to get my ass handed to me.
Hear that Alicia Keys song in New York?
You're concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do.
Jabbing out, singing to the song. Yeah.
The only part I know from Jay-Z is 3-Card Monty. We're gonna go over the NFL power rankings. But when it comes to the power rankings for best concrete, number one every week, every year goes to MCS General Contracting. Let's go ahead and give our boy Chris Leha and MCS General Contracting some love.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That Diamond Hard Concrete, Diamond Hard. They do a fantastic job. They do it right the first time. And what I loved about Leja when he came over, he just had a vision. He just said, you know what? You need a landing here, a step here, a sidewalk here. This is how it's going to work. He just looked at it, and it just happened. They got it done real fast, man. It was really cool.
You could call him, man. Call Christopher Leja over at MCS General Contracting. Number is 210-774-9155. This show and the chat that you guys are using all the time, it's powered by MCS General Contracting.
That's right, baby. So we talk about the NFL power rankings every Tuesday. Super chat. Incoming. Squirrel.
There we go.
Says the world's largest cowboy boots made from concrete and fiberglass. These 40-foot tall boots are located in San Antonio. Not so poor city, Mike. Talking about with North Star Mall, right? Whenever I have family come in from California, the first thing that they do, or one of the first things that they do other than go get food, go to the Mexican bakeries or go into get some taquerias or go to a taqueria, is they go to the boots. They take photos in front of North Star Mall. I don't know, man. Those boots have been around. They were around during Kelly Air Force Base's heyday. So that's when San Antonio was rocking back in the day. Yeah. But thank you so much for the super chat. So Joe, people are so mad when I call San Antonio poor. It is. And you know what?
Oh,
there ain't crap to do in this town half the time. You go on to the Current, you go like things to do in San Antonio. It's always like the Botanical Gardens or the San Antonio Zoo.
Speaking of old things, the Sunken Gardens, did you see that they have like a new restaurant now?
Really?
In that area? It's not open all the time, and it's only open from certain times of the day, but it looks really nice, man.
Yeah.
And maybe go check that out.
Tony's saying not mad, just annoyed.
And they're saying those boots over there in the North Star Mall.
I know they're not even in fashion anymore. They're not even in style.
They're old.
Let's talk about NFL power rankings real quick. Who are we going to go with this week? We're going to go with NBC Sports, NFL.com. Or are we going to go with USA Today or CBS Sports?
Let's go with CBS Sports. We haven't given them some love for a while.
So ESPN Sports this is Pete Prisco, who's kind of a controversial writer back in the day, says Sam Darnold, and who's the quarterback of the 4-0 Vikings, should be an MVP candidate. I agree. Wouldn't that be funny if Sam Darnold? The Jets have sucked for the better part. Mark Sanchez had a couple of good years, right?
Yeah.
For the better part of 50 years since Joe Namath,
Broadway
they sucked
Joe.
so bad. Sam Darnold now getting a fresh breath of air, was with the Jets for a few years, drafted early by them, didn't work out. He's a bust, right? Goes to San Francisco. What happens over there? He holds a clipboard. He backs up Brock Purdy. Then he goes on over to Minnesota, going to back up J.J. McCarthy, who was the new rookie quarterback that they were going to bring in from Michigan. They drafted in the top 10. He goes down with an injury. Sam Darnold's now the quarterback, and now Sam Darnold is sitting there as an MVP candidate. What happens if he takes his team to a 12-5 record or a 13-4 record or even an 11-6 record?
What if he goes to the Super Bowl?
What if they go to the playoffs? What happens to J.J. McCarthy and all the draft capital they had in him?
You still go ahead and keep him around. It's good to have two good quarterbacks. You got one that's helping keep the team afloat right now. But if your plan is to move away at some point, you got to reevaluate that. Is the team rolling with Sam Darnold, or do you take a chance and go ahead and roll with JJ?
You got to keep going with the guy that brought you, man. I mean, look at Brock Purdy. I mean, look at Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott took over for Tony Romo. Now, Romo was not a number 1 overall pick, or a top 10 pick, rather. But Sam Darnold now considered to be an MVP candidate. Look at his stats. 69% completions, 932 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the season. So let's go from the bottom up. Worst team in the league at 0-4. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans barely beat them, and I'm pissed off at that. The Panthers at 31. Patriots at 30. The Browns at 29. Browns at 1-3 on the season. Dolphins are at 28 without Tua Tagovailoa. Titans move up 5 to 27. The Giants at 26, who just lost to the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. Rams at 25. You've got the Cardinals at 24. Raiders at 23. Bengals at 22. They finally got their first win this year. Colts move up 2-2 on the season at 21. Chargers dropped down 6 after losing to the Chiefs. They blew a 10-point lead. 2-2 record. Saints dropped 7 spots down to 19. It says the fast start now seems like a long time ago after 2 division losses. Injuries on the offensive line are concerning. Jets at 18. I'm sorry, we're above the Broncos, dude. My Saints are above the Broncos. Bo Nix, who had negative 7 yards passing in the first half, we should be above them. They moved up 5 spots. 16, dropping 9 spots. The Philadelphia Eagles. Dude, is there a Kellen Moore problem over there?
Hey, there's a reason Dallas got rid of his ass, you know?
Falcons move up to number 15 after beating the Saints. The Bears move up to number 14. There's your Dallas Cowboys at 13. Up 3 spots.
We them boys, Mike. I know you hate hearing that.
Number 12, the Niners. Who would have thought the Cowboys and Niners would be 12 and 13 1 month into the season?
Hey, it's still a long season, though, man. They can turn things around here.
Yeah, they beat up on one of the worst teams in the league, the Niners. Niners have a lot of injuries themselves. The Seahawks dropped first game of the season. They dropped their first loss of the season on Monday Night Football, dropped to 11. Here's the top 10, Joe. Top 10 according to CBS Sports. Number 10, your Green Bay Packers, who are 2-2. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. There's something wrong over there. Number 9, the Steelers, who lost their first game. Washington Commanders.
Cowboys' next opponent is the Steelers.
3-1 atop the NFC East. Says it's time to believe in this group. Jaden Daniels has turned this team around into the best team in the NFC East. Wow. And you're Joe, you're not buying it yet. You're like, nah, this is a good start.
They all right.
82% accuracy the first 4 weeks.
They all right.
Bills dropped to 7. Ravens at 2-2. Jump all the way up to number 6 after beating the living crap out of the Bills. Lions at number 5. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 4. Let's talk about that. You know, they are a solid team. And, you know, we talk about Sam Darnold being an MVP candidate. What about Baker Mayfield?
Oh, man, I don't know Baker's MVP candidate.
He is a quarterback of a 3-1 team.
He's a good quarterback. I'm not going to discount that he's not a good quarterback.
Do they have the Texans at 3? If the Buccaneers play the Texans right now, the Buccaneers would beat the living crap out of the Texans.
Nah, bro.
The Texans are 3-1, and they're just eking by teams, man. They have the Vikings at number 2 and the Chiefs at number 1. And you know what? The Vikings would destroy the Chiefs right now. They would. The Texans right now are annoying me right now. They're annoying me. This is a team that barely beat the Rams. I don't know, man.
Oh, look at this. Drew Show saying Seattle. He said Seattle's not going to make the playoffs. And his reasoning behind it is he says Seattle has New York, San Francisco, Atlanta, Buffalo, Los Angeles Rams the next 5 games. They can easily go 1-4.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Indianapolis any good?
They're pretty good.
Indianapolis. They're not even all right, dude. They suck.
They're all right.
29-27. The Texans beat them. The Bears a good team?
Nah.
It was a 19-13 game. Jacksonville a good team?
Obviously not.
Yeah, barely beat them 24-20. Needed a last-second touchdown. Minnesota a good team.
Minnesota's not bad.
Yeah, very good team, right? Yeah,
Not bad
Texans
at all.
lost 34-7. There's something wrong with the Texans right now. They got to figure it out. They're lucky to be 3-1 right now. Lucky to be 3-1. But the Buccaneers, let's go over some stats for Baker Mayfield. They say that if you throw at 70% accuracy, you're a very, very good quarterback. And he's at 70.5. He's at 984 yards passing on the season, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. A rating of 107 for the year. Dude, MVP candidate, dude.
What was his quarterback rating?
96.9. USA Today has an article about who their MVP candidates are. They have number 1 being Josh Allen. Mahomes at 2. Why? What, for destroying the knees of one of his own players? Stroud at 3. They have Jalen. Oh, my God. This has got to be old. No way that Jalen Hurts should be up there.
What year is this?
No, it was from a few days ago. 2 days ago.
Man. Oh, look at here's some stats that'll hit you with some truths, man. Dakota Rain Prescott.
Junk stats.
Ew, he's got 1,072 yards for the season so far. Thrown 6 touchdowns, tied for 5th. And he's thrown 2 interceptions. He's tied for 36.
Okay,
what's his quarterback rating? 53.9.
Let's go to DraftKings. Okay, so this is the legit one. So DraftKings Sportsbook has Mahomes at 3-1 odds, Josh Allen at 3.5 to 1, Lamar Jackson at 7, CJ Stroud at 10. Then they have Sam Darnold at 13 to 1. Look at that, Sam Darnold at 13 to 1. They have Brock Purdy at 18 to 1, Joe Burrow at 22, and Jaden Daniels right now is the number 8 candidate right now for the MVP according to the DraftKings Sportsbook at 25 to 1 odds. They have Jared Goff at 25 to 1. They have Dak Prescott at 25 to 1, along with Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield at 30 to 1. Okay, if I'm placing some bets right now, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Jaden Daniels, I would much rather have than Patrick Mahomes right now. I'd much rather have than CJ Stroud.
Why did they still got Joe Burrow on there, man? His team is garbage.
His team is garbage, but Burrow's so good, man.
His team is booty crumbs, man.
It ain't his fault.
It ain't his fault. I'm just saying it's not him that he's like a bad quarterback. It's that team that's just booty crumbs.
978 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 106 passer rating. It ain't his fault.
That team is garbage, dude. They ain't making the playoffs, man. I'd be hard pressed to say they make the playoffs this season.
We gonna talk some entertainment today? Dude, it's already 11:20. Goodness.
Yep. Time's gone. It's just flown by.
We didn't talk about Frank Fritz. Want to talk to him about him real fast again.
Sure.
Dying at the age of 60.
Entertainment bump real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't hear, Frank Fritz passed away. He was on American Pickers for several seasons on that hit History Channel show back in the day. Died at the age of 60. He had a stroke 2 years ago. Cause of death has not been announced, but Mike Wolf, who's also on that show, American Pickers, made an announcement earlier today talking about how Frank had passed away. And we've been talking a lot about celebrity deaths and whatnot. You go on to Pete Rose dying, to Kevin Mutombo. You have actresses that have died. You know what I wanted to get into, by the way, now that I think about it? Did you see this? The ring collapse at WWE Monday Night Raw.
That's following a 715-pound superplex.
Yeah, it was superstars Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed fought in the epic last man standing match, according to TMZ. Let's take a look at this once the commercial ends.
Jeez, man.
Son of a.
Why do they always have commercials, dude, for everything?
This is TMZ Sports and USA Network.
That's some biggins. Dang.
Fake or not?
No, dude.
Do you think they're acting at this point? Do you think they're acting?
No, dude. They're probably just damn tired. They're like, my back, my back. They probably can't move, man. They're like, dude, that hurt my back. Jeez, man. And then the ref has to crawl back in the ring.
Yeah.
He's like, man, this sucker ain't got no give. They busted the springs.
That's funny, dude. That's funny.
They must have bought that off of Wish or Temu.
Temu. Astros, Tigers, 1:30 today. Framber Valdez on the mound. I think he had 16 wins on the season this past year. Real quick, we have some Drew show coming out talking about Jaden Daniels with his percentage completion of 82%, as I said. Previous record was 79.2% in 2007. Geno Smith in 2022 also had big numbers. Kyler Murray had big numbers in 2021. The thing about Jaden Daniels, again, he played over 50 games that he started in college football at Arizona State and at LSU.
Yeah.
The guy is just ready to go. Big time program. Played against SEC defenses. Good player, dude. And then you take him at number 2. Why? Like Caleb Williams was good, won the Heisman and all that, but I never looked at Caleb Williams and I thought he can do what Jaden Daniels does. Not at all.
Oh, they're talking about the WWE right now is Sam Salinas. He's saying this has been one of the greatest programs they put together in a long time. Great feud, great action. That's worthy of Attitude Era.
It is National Taco Day.
That it is. It's Taco Tuesday too, you know?
Wow.
You know, one of the things that I saw here, and we're going to talk about this too, because I had saw somewhere by Front Office Sports, I think I retweeted it earlier today too. They were breaking news, and they were saying that what's happening is that now DirecTV has purchased Dish Network.
Really?
And they're absorbing their plethora of subscribers, something like 10 million subscribers that they have. And not only is that purchase going to include Dish Network, but also Sling TV, which Dish TV or Dish Network, they own Sling TV as well. So this is a big play for DirecTV, because DirecTV is still in the satellite business with some of the rural areas, but really they're trying to go ahead and build this conglomerate of this. They want to be known as a big bona fide streaming service.
Right.
So you got to ask the question, what does this mean for you as the subscriber moving forward when it comes to sports? Because right now, DirecTV, and you look at their streaming packages, they're one of the few options that's out there where you can get Bally Sports already packaged in there, right?
Well, having the Sling TV option in there is big, because DirecTV, I've had before, it doesn't travel. Not that I know of, at least back in the day. What I meant by that is that, you know, you can record X number of hours of programming.
Yeah.
The DVR back in the day was 40 hours, which sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. It's like 15 movies, right? 20 movies.
Yeah.
I have YouTube TV. I was introduced to YouTube TV a few years ago by my friend George. I loved it. And now whenever I go to, like, I go to my girlfriend's house, right? She lives in the Houston area, right? I go over there. She doesn't have TV. She's got streaming services, right? She got the cord, nothing but streaming services. I want to watch Sunday football, or I want to watch college football. I log into the YouTube TV app, and all of a sudden, all my stuff is there. My DVR is there. Like Sling TV does that, right?
Yeah.
All my stuff is there. I went to go visit my daughter in Baton Rouge, right? LSU graduate. Went to go visit her this past weekend. Went over there. I wanted to watch TV. She doesn't have TV. Guess what I did? I logged into the YouTube TV app, and boom, everything I had was there. All my DVR was there. All my channels were there. Boom, it travels. DirecTV didn't travel when I had it. But that's the whole point of Sling, is to have your TV travel with you. So that's cool.
Yeah, and look, here's the information I'm showing from Front Office Sports. DirecTV is acquiring Dish Network in a move that will create by far the country's top TV distributor with nearly 20 million subscribers, and says the long contemplated merger also includes Dish Network's streaming service, Sling TV. And we're getting some comments in here already. You know, I know Matt Lerma, friend of the show here, is a friend of the show, is watching. He says, now you should be able to watch all the local games. Yeah, you should be able to watch all the local games. But what I'm talking about specifically is the marquee games, you know, where they're going to charge you for like ESPN and TNT, right? And, you know, because this is big business when it comes to sports, because ESPN's going to have the Monday Night Football game. You're going to want TNT because what do they show there? NBA basketball. What is, you know, like USA Network? What is TBS and TNT show? March Madness, you know? Yeah. And all these things are big business. And when it comes to sports, so I'm just letting everybody know, like, when you have these mergers like this, it changes the landscape of things, because right now, with these TV deals being made with ESPNs and some of the other bigger networks, it costs you more money as a consumer when you have a YouTube TV, or like for me, if I have Hulu with TV Plus and whatnot. At the end of the day, it hits your wallet, because they got to charge you more to keep the programming that you want in place, you know? And
less competition usually leads to higher prices.
Exactly, man. So at the end of the day, you have the big guys that are going to be flexing their muscle, and DirecTV is going to be one of the top streaming services here in the country. So expect TV prices across the board, no matter who you have, they're going to wind up going up. And you know who is also entering the fray when it comes to that? And quietly, they've been putting together some things that are quite interesting. Amazon Prime TV.
Yeah.
If you go to Amazon Prime now, they have a live TV option where they've gotten a lot of the stuff that they show like on Pluto TV, and now they're merging that into their own.
I like Pluto.
So now they're starting to expand. They have Freevee, right?
Yeah.
If you can watch the shows for free there, and they have specific shows that they show on Freevee. They have Amazon Prime Video. They have Thursday Night Football. Now they're showing not college, but they're showing soccer. They're going to be showing combat sports now because they have a contract now with boxing. They're starting to try to put together some really interesting things going on here. And it looks like everybody's starting to jockey for position when it comes to getting your hard-earned money. So expect to pay more to watch sports in the next year or so.
You know what? If the programming is good and they bring more to the table than what the normal ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC used to do, I'm okay with it. I don't mind paying a little bit more to get better quality. I really don't. But it sucks for those who can't afford that, because there's some people who rely on the ABCs of the world, the ESPNs of the world to make it happen.
And Matt Lerma saying DirecTV is owned by AT&T. Not anymore. I believe that AT&T actually sold those rights away, so they don't own DirecTV anymore. DirecTV is its own standalone thing.
Yeah.
I think that happened about 2 years ago. So I don't believe that AT&T no longer owns the rights to DirecTV.
Before we wrap up, Catherine Stinson of the MySA wrote an article about Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it's National Taco Day. Here's some places where she says you can go to get some specials. You go to Taco Palenque. If you like the Maverick Taco, buy one, get one free. And it goes all the way to Thursday the 4th. Taco Cabana, $1 bean and cheese tacos today. Taco Bell, $1 tacos from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So basically lunch and dinner over there. Long John Silver's, if there's one in your neighborhood, 2 fish tacos for $5. Las Palapas, buy 2 tacos, get 1 free. Has to be of lesser value. El Pollo Loco, 3 fire grilled chicken tacos for $5.
That's cheap, man.
And then Chewy's.
Chewy's ain't real Mexican.
Basically $1, basically picadillo.
Yeah, it's not real Mexican. They got one right here around the corner from us, man.
Yeah. And they got rid of a lot of the menu. Hey, let's go give me some love real fast.
Yeah.
Did you change the photo? Did you change the photo?
I haven't changed the photo yet.
Oh!
But I do have your number.
210-508-0369. I've been financial services. So, you got a stray retirement account that needs to be rolled over. You have an advisor that you don't like. You want me to have a second opinion or a second look at what you've got going on when it comes to your retirement, when it comes to your old 401ks, old 403bs, old thrift savings accounts, or whatever the case may be. I do investments. I do life insurance, long-term care disability. Yesterday was a good day. Signed up a young man to life insurance.
Nice.
Today I'm signing up a new guy for an investment. He has never invested before. He's going to give me his first $2,000 worth of investments, and I'm going to go find something to put his money into. I have a lot going on when it comes to it all. I manage about $15 million in assets right now. I'm very, very fortunate. This has become a successful thing. And I'm a fiduciary. Everything I say and do needs to be in the client's best interest. So, again, my number is 210-508-0369. Don't forget Locked On Spurs, Jeff Garcia for your daily content. Again, I recommend the episode he had with James Leha. That was really, really, really good. Boxing star Jesse James Leha. Aside from that, I think I'll be on Locked On Spurs either tomorrow or the next day talking about Stephon Castle and what needs to be done with him now that Devin Vassell's injured. So looking forward to it. Everyone have a fantastic day. My name's Mike. That's Joe. This is the Alamo City Sportscast. Hit the like button on the way out the door. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends, man. Everyone have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow.
See y'all.